accept then, because of the improvements that have been made, that at the start they weren't good enough, the standards?
I think overall, the need for labor reform in itself dictates that, yes, improvements had to happen. And just so we're clear, this was something that was recognized before we bid. The improvements that have happened isn't because of the World Cup. These are improvements that we knew we had to do because of our own values. Improvements that had to happen, whether it's in terms of health and safety standards, whether it's in terms of improving the accommodations standards, whether it's in terms of dismantling the kafala system. Now, what the World Cup did, the World Cup served as a vehicle, as an accelerant, as a catalyst. It, because of the spotlight, which we recognized early on was going to be shed, it allowed, it caused a lot of these initiatives, not only in terms of improvement in the legislation, but in the enforcement of it as well. And that's where today, where we we got to a position where our most ardent of critics consider us today to be a benchmark.
Well, I'm sorry, but I really do not buy his point. The fact that he said that improvement had to happen and things had to change. And I understand that most things are a gradual process. Like people look at things and they realize that, okay, these things are not the way they are supposed to be, and they try their best to fix it, to make it better. That I understand. But for him to claim that they knew about this problem and they were going to fix it and they were working towards fixing it, I really don't buy it. I think they only did this when people started talking about the way they were treating the migrant workers in Qatar. And let's be clear about this, okay? Let's be very clear about it. If Qatar hadn't hosted this World Cup, they would not have changed many of these policies. Because look through the Middle East, you will see that many of these countries, or many of those countries in the Middle East, have similar policy when it comes to migrant workers. They treat migrant workers like second-class citizens. Migrant workers do not have rights or anything. They have curtailed all the rights of migrant workers. Some of them have their passport taken away from them. You cannot leave the country without your sponsor approving your exit visa. So him saying that these issues that have been kind of fixed or improved on was something they have seen and they were working towards is something I really do not buy it. They started fixing things because the pressure kept on mounting, and they realized that if they didn't do something, it was going to be not good for them on the international scene. And that was why they decided to fix a few things, to change a few labor laws, to improve on certain labor and safety and security. So let's continue.
We've always said everybody's welcome, and we've worked very hard to create an environment and to ensure that people from all parts of the world and all walks of life come into Qatar, engage and interact with people from the Arab world and the Middle East, even though we might not necessarily see eye to eye on certain things, even though we might not agree on certain things, but everybody's welcome. And the point is, to come to terms with the fact that we won't see eye to eye, but we can still have mutual respect for each other and still find a way of moving forward, celebrating together. And I think...
Is it safe for gay people to be in Qatar now?
It's safe for everybody to be in Qatar, yes. Unequivocally, Piers, yes.
And safe for gay people to live in Qatar?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a very amazing line. This is very interesting. I enjoy what he said, right? We might not necessarily like each other. We might not necessarily go along with each other, but we will respect each other. And this is the principle I think most people should live up to, right? That even though we might not necessarily agree on many things, we can still tolerate and we can still respect each other. But in his own case, I think that it's the same thing most leaders in Africa will tell you. This is how they will say it. In Africa, there's freedom of speech. Everyone can set their mind. If you thought about something, you can say it. You have the freedom to say what is in your mind. But just wait. Okay, just wait until you set your mind. Then you realize if you actually had that freedom of speech that was promised to you or not. Just wait until you set your mind. Before you leave the broadcasting house or before you leave where you set your mind, they will pick you up and and put you somewhere, and before you walk out of that place, it will be years after. So what he's saying here, I really don't buy it. I think that most people in power always use words like this or sentences like this, like everyone is welcome, or everyone is free to do what they want to do, or everyone can set their minds. We live in a free society. But until you set your mind, that is when you realize that you've made a big mistake of speaking out what was in your mind. So don't fall for that trap. Okay. I just want to say that Qatar has done a great job in hosting the World Cup. In fact, it's very spectacular, and I have watched some of the scenes. I have seen some of the photos. I've seen some of the videos of people having nice time in Qatar, which I think is great. Qatar has done a fantastic job. In fact, Qatar has spent on this World Cup more than what people expected, given the size of Qatar. So you can imagine the challenge and to really put on a massive show like the World Cup. I think it's good. And also, I must say that Qatar has done a lot when it comes to the rights of the migrant workers. And I think that they should continue in this spirit and make everything better, because they are like the shining example for the rest of the Middle East to follow. But I also must say that Qatar did this because people said something. Okay, if no one said anything, Qatar wouldn't do anything. So people said something. That was why Qatar did what Qatar has done. So for all of you guys out there thinking that to criticize somebody is wrong, you guys must understand that people learn, people become aware when others criticize them about things they are doing which are not good. So if you see me doing something that is not good, it's always normal or it's always advisable for you to criticize me in hopes that I am going to change. So to you guys out there, what do you think about all the improvement or all the changes that Qatar has made to the migrant workers situation? And secondly, do you think that people are just out there criticizing Qatar unjustly? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please kindly like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Little deeds like this one helps the channel a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and like always, see you in the next one, and Kai.